Konnichiwa minasan, and welcome to Oshita Karate, where we look deeper into Isshin-ryu Karate. And tonight, we're going to look closer at the 7th Kihon in the Isshin-ryu Karate system. Now, I'm going to demonstrate this technique for you in a couple of different angles, and those that train in Isshin-ryu are going to immediately recognize it, and it does involve the nukite, or the spear hand, as we would say. And so here's the technique that we're going to look closer at tonight. Here it is from this angle. And we'll do it again from this side. Here so you can see the stance and the feet. Excellent. All right, if I can get my partner in. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ken. So the 7th technique with Mr. Ken. So we're going to show the folks several different ways of using this technique. But the main purpose of this video tonight is to see if we can how do we get your eyes down to the target, the solar plexus height. Because if you remember, those that study and understand, the nukite, the fingertips, are typically thrown to soft targets. The eyes, the throat, the groin. Well, in this case, we have the solar plexus. Now, I understand that there are many people out there that can really cause pain with just the fingertips. But I'm not one of those folks. So I use the nukite in different ways. And I'm going to show those different ways. And then we still got to figure out, Mr. Ken, how do we get your eyes, the soft target, down here where I can strike it? Because you got to remember, sir, I cannot change the technique, even though your eyes are up here. But first, before we do that, let's look at some other options. So in Isshin-ryu, we know that our blocks are strikes and our strikes are blocks. So off gate, if you look at this, if Mr. Ken swings, this is going to seem like a block. But if you notice, if I fail, he's going to still hit me. So the technique tells us to step back, and that is actually our first defense. Now, obviously, in the streets, you're going to lean back out of the way, all right? But we're going to step back out of the way. Now, if I stick with the technique, I'll be strict to the technique, stay here. Then, because we're out of the way, this now allows me to strike the arm. And then, nukite into the solar plexus. Like I said, though, it's kind of difficult for me at least, to cause injury to the sternum with the fingertips, especially, Ken, if I could have just thrown a nice solid punch. Okay, so a punch versus here with the nukite, me personally, I want to fire the punch, but I can't change the technique. So let's use the nukite in a different way. Let's swing it again, and this time, we're going to palm our opponent's midsection to the side. Sometimes, Ken, people can take punishment to the front of their body, their bellies, but when you start striking to the side, it's a different sensation. So now we can actually get in to the side here and with our palms and slam our palm into the midsection of our opponent. But what if our opponent is not just going to stand there and throw a 1? We're going to throw a 1-2. So you throw a 1 and a 2, well, I'm in trouble. So let's use the technique again without changing it. You're going to swing, I'm going to get out of the way and strike to actually stuff the opposite, your other punch. Okay? Notice how I'm controlling both arms because I'm grabbing, and we'll get to that in a second. So let's do that again, kind of slow. 1 and 2 early in. Now, obviously, from here we got knees, headbutts, all kind of fun things that we can do. But for now, we're just looking at the technique. So, folks, that is just a few ways of using this movement. But if you remember, we talked about how do we get the eyes down here so that we can actually apply the nukite properly. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the same idea. You throw that right round punch. We're going to get out of the way and strike that appendage, that weapon coming at me. Now, what does the technique tell us to do after we strike? It tells us to pull our fist back to our waist. But before it tells us to pull our fist back to our waist, if we could get closer to the camera, sir, the technique tells us to close our fist. Now, we can not pull the arm, but we're going to yank the arm. Now, when I say yank, we're not going to yank the arm back. The technique says to yank the arm down to the floor. So we would yank the arm down to the floor. Now, when I say yank, we're going to yank your arm so fast and so hard that your body, the neck, is going to whiplash. Okay? I want to leave your thoughts and your hairpins spinning around in the air up there while your lower body is down here ready to be dealt with. Okay? Now, if we turn to this side, though, there's something else special going on. Now, sir, don't throw it. I just want to show the folks. The technique, we swing around, we close, and when we pull the fist back to the hip, notice there's a twisting motion. Remember, Isshin-ryu doesn't pull back like so. We go back vertically. All right, we punch vertically and we pull back vertically. So, sir, if you swing that again and we grip, we're going to, again, yank his arm quickly downwards. Now, I shouldn't have my elbow up so high. I'm trying to show y'all. Let's go here. Let me go on this side, sir. We're going to go here. I'm going to have my elbow down here, so it shouldn't be out here. Down here, we're going to grip that arm, okay? And we're going to, like the kata says, we're going to yank downwards and twist that wrist, just like the technique says. And notice where it's putting the eye. Okay, it's putting the eye in the target area. So let's do that again, really slow. Grip, and we're going to jerk that arm so quickly down that it whiplashes his body forward. Okay, let's go on the other side. So now we can target those eyes. Now, class, as you know, anytime in your training when you're using a nukite to the eyes, you got to go slow. All right, because even slow, injuries can happen, but we want to make sure that we go slow here tonight. So, sir, if you'll swing slow, because that's another thing. If your partner's moving fast, I might move fast. So move slow, and we can all work together. Grip, jerk the arm down, and now the eye is in place for the target. Let's do that again. Strike, yank, and insert the finger into the eye. All right, now that makes a little more sense. Okay, again, we use this technique in other ways besides technique to the nukite to the eyes. But if we were to use them to the eyes, we had to apply the opposite hand, in this case, the left arm, to get your body in position to get the technique to function and to work for us. Thank you so much, Ken. I appreciate you. And thank y'all so much for this, your time. Your kihon, they're very, very important. They're your first 15 techniques that you would learn in Isshin-ryu Karate. And again, this is the 7th one. And they're all very simple, but highly, highly effective self-defense techniques. All right, I appreciate your time, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.